At a friend's gathering, Victor suggested we take a group photo. Just as everyone looked toward the camera, he suddenly leaned over and kissed the junior girl beside him. Everyone was stunned and turned to look at me. The junior girl hurriedly explained, cautious and nervous. I lost a bet with someone and begged senior to help me. Eva, you don't mind this tiny thing, right? I smiled and told everyone to continue taking the photo. And when they once again faced the camera, I also turned my head and kissed the boy next to me. Victor's sworn rival. Joel. Eva, what are you doing? Victor shot up from his seat, face dark as iron. I replied openly and calmly, nothing much, just taking this chance to make an announcement. My new boyfriend, Joel. You all know him well, no need for me to introduce him, right? Chapter 1. When Victor's kiss landed. The friend at the front holding the camera suddenly blurted out, holy sh*t. He nearly dropped the camera. Everyone was stunned and turned to look at me in unison. At first, I was a bit dazed too. I didn't expect the two of them to pull such a stunt in front of all our friends. But aside from the surprise, there wasn't much else I felt. Victor and that junior had known each other since they were kids. Strictly speaking, they were childhood sweethearts. When they reunited in college, Victor had been visibly excited. After all, the little crybaby who used to be clingy and annoying had now blossomed into someone bright and lovely. Of course, that was a whole new kind of surprise. Girls have a natural sixth sense. The first time Victor mentioned the name Nicole, I sensed something off. Sure enough, in just half a year, their relationship had progressed rapidly. And now, it looked like they could no longer hold back their feelings. Nicole's face turned crimson with embarrassment. She first gave Victor a deeply affectionate look, then timidly lifted her eyes to look at me. Sis, I lost a bet. The punishment was to film a going public with your boyfriend video. But I'm still young, just turned 18. And if my parents find out I'm dating, they'll kill me. So I begged Victor to help me just this once. We've known each other since we were kids, he knows me well. Eva, you won't mind such a little thing, will you? She looked at me with such innocent, pure eyes, as if I got jealous, or made a fuss over this, then I would be the one with a twisted, petty heart. Chapter 2. I found it rather disgusting. Before I could say anything, someone nearby let out a sneer. I turned my head and met Joel's eyes. He was wearing a black pullover hoodie, his hair freshly cut. His sharp, well-defined features and clean jawline stood out no matter where he was. I slowly lowered my gaze. My heart seemed to skip a beat. It took a while to calm down. Victor. Nicole bit her lip aggrievedly, her eyes brimming with tears. Victor immediately felt distressed. Joel, what are you laughing at? Nicole already said, it was just a bet. Besides, Eva knows, I've always seen Nicole as a younger sister. As he spoke, he turned to look at me. Right, Eva? I couldn't help but laugh. Indeed, every time Victor mentioned Nicole, he claimed she was like a little sister to him. But a so-called little sister with no blood relation always came with unspoken ambiguity. We'd argued many times about this. At first, Victor would still coax me, promising to keep his distance from Nicole. Later on, he became obviously impatient. Just a few days ago, we had another argument over Nicole. We'd been giving each other the cold shoulder. I only learned Victor would be at tonight's party when I arrived. The friends planned this gathering to help us reconcile. But Victor had brought Nicole along, and then they pulled this little stunt. I suppressed my disgust, smiled at everyone. That's right, Victor told me many times, he's always treated Nicole like a younger sister. As I finished speaking, Victor clearly breathed a sigh of relief. His eyes even showed a trace of pride. Nicole bit her lip again, her eyes even redder. Joel remained silent. Even the mocking smile at the corner of his lips had disappeared completely. He sat in his chair, lowered his gaze, expressionless, his whole demeanor like cold inkstone. I withdrew my gaze and looked at the friend holding the camera. Let's continue taking the group photo. Oh, yes. Everyone get ready. The friend hurriedly organized the group. Victor sat down in the chair beside me, but Joel stood up. You guys take it. I've got something to do. I'm leaving first. Come on, Joel. Victor suddenly reached out and put his arm around my shoulder, raising his eyebrows at Joel. It's rare we all get together. Don't be in such a hurry to leave. Chapter 3. Joel's gaze landed on Victor's hand, only for a brief moment. No one else noticed. His expression was calm, so calm it seemed devoid of emotion. I've got something urgent. You guys have fun. Joel. I suddenly reached out and tugged on his sleeve. You're already here. Just take a photo before you go. Victor was clearly startled, but quickly chimed in. Yeah, take a photo before you go. We were classmates for 2 years, and we don't even have a single photo together. On the surface, Victor and Joel appeared polite to each other, but all our friends knew that privately. They had no interaction and didn't get along at all. They were rivals. Plain and simple. Joel stood there, nearly 9 meters tall, with broad shoulders and long legs, radiating an intimidating presence. Victor couldn't help but frown. Joel, however, lowered his eyes and looked at my hand, then nodded. All right, one photo. Then I'll leave. He sat back down. I let go of his sleeve. Our friend hurriedly raised the camera. Okay, everyone get ready. Look at the camera. Everyone smiled and turned toward the lens. Just as the shutter was about to click, I suddenly turned my face, lightly tugged Joel's sleeve, and pulled him closer. And right as the shutter clicked, a light kiss landed softly on the corner of Joel's lips. A very brief silence followed, roughly half a second. Then came the sound of the camera hitting the ground, its lens shattering, and Victor's voice, nearly grinding through his teeth. Eva, what do you mean by that? What the fuck are you doing? Chapter 4. He shot to his feet, face dark as thunder as he stared at me. Nicole's eyes widened in shock. She let out a small gasp and covered her mouth, but in her eyes, an irrepressible flicker of excitement flashed. I glanced at Joel. He was looking at me, too. Those usually indifferent, emotionless eyes now held a storm of complicated emotions, but in the end, they quieted down again, leaving only silence. His arm lifted slightly, as if to pull away from me. I simply grabbed his wrist and pulled him up, under Victor's gaze, which looked like his eyes were about to burst with rage. I said calmly, openly, don't overthink it. Nicole's little performance just reminded me of something, so I'd like to take this opportunity to make something public too. As I spoke, I looked at Joel and smiled at him with curved eyes. My new boyfriend, Joel. Everyone knows him, so I don't need to introduce him, right? Everyone was stunned. For a long while, no one said a word. The room fell completely silent. Eva. Victor looked completely shocked. You did this on purpose, didn't you? Because I kissed Nicole to help her with that bet. You kissed Joel just to get back at me, right? Nicole chimed in softly and tearfully. Sister, if you're angry, you can hit me or scold me, but please don't hurt Victor, okay? Good girls don't date 2 guys at once. I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. Right, good girls don't 2-time, but they can flirt and kiss other people's boyfriends? Victor. Nicole covered her face and ran out crying. Eva, that was way too harsh. I'm letting it go for now, but you better pray nothing happens to Nicole. Victor pointed at me, then ran out after her. The friends left in the room exchanged awkward glances. No one knew what to say. Then Joel suddenly spoke. Oscar, your camera's broken. I'll buy you the newest model tomorrow. Then he tightened his grip on my hand. You guys keep playing. Tonight's on me. Eva and I are heading out. No need to replace it. Oscar stammered, but Joel cut him off. It's settled. I'll call you tomorrow. Joel pulled me out of the room without another word. With his long legs and quick pace, I stumbled trying to keep up. Joel, you're walking too fast. His pace immediately slowed, but he still said nothing, until we both reached the rooftop terrace. Joel stopped and slowly let go of my hand. Eva, under the night sky, in the moonlight, his shadow stretched long and enveloped me completely. The shimmering light made it hard to read his expression. All I knew was that his eyes were fixed on me, unwavering. What do you want to say? I asked. After a long silence, Joel spoke, his voice low and heavy. Don't play with me. Even if it's you, don't. Chapter 5. I pressed my lips together, feeling the heat rise in my cheeks. I had indeed acted a little impulsively just now, but I didn't regret it. Joel, I wasn't playing you. Joel curled his lips slightly, his voice tinged with self-mockery. If you did it just to get back at Victor, then I suggest you find someone else, because I'm not going to take part in that kind of farce. I looked steadily at the boy in front of me, yet inside, an ache welled up in my chest. If only I'd had that strange dream sooner. If only Joel had been the first person I met, how wonderful that would have been. But there's no such thing as if in this world. I could only be thankful that it wasn't too late, that I hadn't been entangled with Victor for 10 years. Breaking up and getting back together hadn't ended up his tragic first wife who died early, just to bless his love with Nicole, and Joel hadn't spent 40 years alone, dying too soon. But you didn't push me away. When I said you were my new boyfriend, you didn't deny it either. Joel paused for a moment. I just didn't want you to feel embarrassed or humiliated, he said coldly. His words struck a sharp ache in my heart. All right then, go. I'll find someone else. Joel stared at me. It took a while before he turned and walked toward the iron door of the terrace. I stood frozen, watching his determined back fade into the dark. And suddenly, tears welled up in my eyes. Maybe it really was just a strange dream. Even if so many things from the dream had come true, it was still just a dream. The Joel in reality probably never liked me at all. He probably really just didn't want to embarrass me. That's why he didn't push me away. And everything I did tonight must have been a bother to him. What are you crying for? Joel's voice suddenly rang out in front of me. Startled, I looked up. My tear-filled eyes met his gaze. Joel, I thought you left. If I had really left, would you go find someone else? I instinctively shook my head, then stubbornly nodded while biting my lip. Joel let out a silent chuckle. Forget it, Eva, I give in. As soon as he said that, Joel cupped my face and lowered his head. A hot, moist kiss landed softly on my lips. He didn't go deeper, just restrained himself to a gentle touch. I saw his Adam's apple move violently. The fingers holding my face trembled slightly too. Just one light kiss, and he already seemed completely swept up in the moment. Somehow, I blurted out, Joel, is this your first time kissing someone? Before he could answer, I rose on tiptoe and kissed him again. Then let me teach you. I extended my tongue, licking gently at his thin lips. Don't bite, open your mouth. He was trembling all over, but he learned fast. Very soon, he was the one taking the lead. The kiss was so intense it left the base of my tongue numb. Gentler, Joel, don't be so eager. I'll give you everything. Chapter 6. In the midst of passion and confusion, sudden footsteps approached. Then Victor's voice called from a distance. Eva, are you up there? Strange, didn't they say she was on the rooftop? Nicole's voice followed. Just go up and see. The footsteps grew nearer. Suddenly, Joel pulled me and hid me behind the low shrubs. Victor and Nicole pushed open the iron gate to the terrace. Looks like she's really not here. Victor's voice carried a faint note of worry. Nicole, do you think Eva might do something stupid? She wouldn't, right? Besides, didn't she leave with Joel? Nicole pursed her lips. Maybe they went to get a room. Don't talk nonsense. I know Joel. He's arrogant and proud. He wouldn't be interested in someone like Eva. Why not? Sis is really pretty too. Victor sneered. Joel doesn't like me. So of course he doesn't like my girlfriend either. But Sis kissed him, and he didn't push her away. Nicole's words made Victor's face darken immediately. Victor, I'm not like Eva. I'm not fickle. There's only you in my heart and eyes. Always has been. Since we were kids. You used to say I was too young. But I've grown up now. I'm an adult. As she spoke, Nicole took the initiative to hug Victor, pressing her whole body against him. Victor, please accept me. Even if we can't be together, just this once would be enough for me. Nicole, the wet sounds of kissing, mixed with panting, rang out clearly. Suddenly, Joel tightly gripped my hand. Eva, his voice whispered at my ear. Warm breath brushed against my sensitive earlobe. Tiny goosebumps rose on the back of my neck. Joel lifted my chin. Moonlight spilled down, landing on my slightly swollen lips, and Joel's kiss followed immediately. Dominant and reckless, devouring me inch by inch. Wanna compare with them? See who lasts longer. Who's better? Chapter 7. I saw the white moonlight swaying, the flower branches and tree shadows blurred in its shimmer. In my hazy vision, Joel's eyes appeared. They were so bright, it was as if all the stars in the sky had fallen into them. For a moment, there was only a buzzing in my ears, as if I'd gone deaf. Not until I fully fell into Joel's embrace did I realize Victor and Nicole had left at some point. Maybe they got carried away while kissing. After all, Nicole had just pitifully begged to offer herself, and Victor was clearly tempted. When did they leave? I asked softly, my voice hoarse. Joel didn't answer. He simply lowered his head and carefully wiped the moisture at the corner of my lips. Eva, you just said you wanted to teach me. There was a faint, scattered smile in Joel's eyes. But during the kiss, you almost passed out. I couldn't help but laugh. This ridiculous male ego. Even someone as cool and aloof as Joel wasn't immune. That only proved what a good teacher I was. As for the student, you learned fast, surpassed the master. I looked at Joel, laughter shining in my eyes. So good. We're both still so young. The feeling of stopping the loss in time and starting over, it's really amazing. Joel seemed to chuckle softly too. Then from now on, teacher, I'll be counting on you to keep teaching me. I paused slightly but keenly caught that fleeting trace of bitterness in Joel's eyes. I understood instantly. This was the 3rd year of my relationship with Victor. In everyone's eyes, we were a perfect, loving couple. Victor had a place off campus, so people just naturally assumed that we had already slept together. Speaking of that, I should actually thank Nicole. If she hadn't shown up at just the right time, stirring Victor's heart, making him falter and hesitate, maybe I really would have let him coax me into moving out to live together. But for now, Victor and I haven't taken that final step. Thinking about that, I feel nothing but immense relief. It's just that, for the moment, I can't find a suitable chance to explain everything clearly to Joel. But talking more won't help. Better to place the truth right in front of him. I remember Joel's birthday is right before Christmas. I also remember that, in my dream, Joel had a diary, and on every one of his birthdays, he would write down a single sentence in that diary. When will Eva be able to see me? That diary stopped on his 40th birthday. After he passed away, his family burned that diary for him as well. Perhaps heaven finally took pity, and finally heard Joel's devout wish. My eyes burned with a sour sting, gradually flooding with a soft red of moisture. Joel, your birthday is coming next month. Let me give you a gift. I forced back the tears gathering in my eyes and lifted my face to him with a bright smile. You will definitely like it. But Joel shook his head. I don't want any gift. Just spend one birthday with me. That's enough. Only one? From now on, for every birthday you have, I'll accompany you, okay? But Joel didn't answer. He only gave me a faint, gentle smile. Then he raised his hand and brushed away the stray hairs beside my temple. It's cold at night. Let me walk you back to your dorm. He seemed to hesitate for a moment, but still lightly held my slightly chilled fingertips. Chapter 8. When I woke up on the weekend, there were several messages and calls from Victor on my phone. I didn't check them. Instead, I opened the WeChat message Joel had sent an hour ago. Do you want to have lunch together? I stared at his profile picture, feeling a little absent-minded. I couldn't believe I hadn't noticed before. Joel's profile picture was surprisingly poetic. Next to a clear, serene pond, there was only a single white rose. I wanted to laugh, but somehow I also wanted to cry. Joel, in the dream about our past life, why didn't you say it? But then again, how could he have said it? Back then, Victor had already coaxed me into moving off campus to live with him. I had grown up in a loving family with parents who adored each other. What I longed for most was a lifelong, monogamous love. So, after becoming intimate with Victor, my entire heart was thrown into him. How could I have seen the presence of anyone else? But at that moment, a sudden memory hit me. Once, Victor and I had another intense argument because of Nicole. That time, I brought up breaking up, and in a fit of rage, he agreed on the spot. And on the 3rd day after Victor and I broke up, Joel suddenly called me, said he needed to talk, and asked to meet up. I didn't think much of it at the time, But just as I was nearing the place Joel had told me, one of Victor's friends called me, said he was drunk and kept asking for me. I softened instantly, and without a second thought, rushed off to find him, completely forgetting Joel had asked to meet me. After settling Victor down, it wasn't until the middle of the night that I remembered Joel. I hurriedly called him back. Joel picked up very quickly. On the phone, I kept apologizing, filled with guilt, but Joel didn't sound angry at all. His tone remained distant and mild from beginning to end. Eva, there's no need to apologize. I waited for a while, and when you didn't come, I went back. It's fine. I asked some other classmates for help. Then, if you ever need anything again, please come to me. I'll help you right away. Joel didn't respond. He just gave a soft chuckle and said, "Thanks." From that moment on, he never called me again. He never sought me out again. And I didn't realize until this very moment. That day, he didn't just wait for a while. He must have waited for me until the middle of the night. But in the end, what he got was me getting back together with Victor. Again. That night, how did Joel get through it? My heart ached so badly it felt like it was twisting. I couldn't wait to reply to Joel's message. I wanted to see him. I wanted to hug him. But Victor's call came in. I thought about it and decided to answer. There were some things that needed to be made absolutely clear. If I was going to cut ties, then it had to be clean and complete. After all, that would be the fairest thing for Joel. I pressed answer. Victor's tone was exactly the same as always, as if nothing had happened the night before. Eva, let's have lunch. I'm downstairs at your dorm. I even got your favorite taro cream cake. Victor, I'm not coming down, but there are a few things I think we really need to talk through. Victor interrupted me right away. Eva, I know what happened last night embarrassed you, and you're angry. I've thought about it. Helping Nicole like that wasn't right. But you got back at me last night too. So let's call it even, okay? Chapter 9. Victor spoke lightly, as if it were just another one of our countless fights over Nicole. I would scream hysterically, crying until my eyes were swollen red, and he would stay indifferent, speaking with a trace of impatience. In his mind, the ambiguity between him and Nicole meant nothing, as long as they hadn't slept together. They were forever pure siblings. Last night wasn't revenge. I'm not as childish as you. Victor suddenly let out a laugh. Don't tell me you're serious about Joel? Why can't I be? Eva, stop fantasizing. Joel used to live in the dorm right next to mine. We didn't get along, but I still knew a few things about him. He has a girl he likes a lot. Victor's voice was full of mockery. He's said it for ages. His heart belongs to someone. He's rejected countless girls these past 2 years. Don't set yourself up for humiliation. I couldn't help but curl my lips into a smile. Suddenly, I didn't feel like laying all my cards on the table with Victor just yet. Are you done? Then I guess it's my turn to speak. Victor paused for 2 seconds. Go ahead. I took a quiet breath. Turning my face, I saw the photo frame on the study desk. It was a picture we had taken when Victor and I first got together. In the photo, I was smiling at the scenery ahead. Victor, however, was gazing at me with tenderness and focus. Maybe he really did like me once, maybe he even loved me, and that love hadn't exactly vanished. It had simply faded with time and shifted to someone else. In my past life, I could never understand this. I was stubborn, endlessly caught in overthinking. In the end, I left the stage miserably, with a tragic ending. But now, everything related to him, I've let go. Let's break up. And from now on, let's not have any further contact. Nicole seems to really like you. I wish you two the best, truly. In my past life, after I died, Victor married Nicole. The white of my funeral hadn't even fully faded before it was completely overtaken by festive red. They were a loving couple. People called them a perfect match. If someone occasionally mentioned me, the discarded first wife, Victor would simply say, only those who've loved the wrong person can truly treasure the right one in front of them. And later, the world forgot about me entirely. They only remembered his wife, Nicole. Who would remember the discarded woman named Eva? Only Joel. Every year, on my birthday and my death anniversary, There would always be a white rose quietly placed at my grave late at night by him. Suddenly, tears burst from my eyes. A sob caught in my throat. On the other end of the line, Victor suddenly let out a soft laugh. He probably thought my choking up was because of him, that my talk of breaking up was just a tantrum, some kind of playing hard to get. Eva, I'll pretend I didn't hear what you just said. This week, I won't bother you. Take your time and calm down. When you've figured things out, come find me. We'll have a proper talk. With that, he hung up. I raised my hand to wipe away my tears, letting out a scornful laugh. Without the slightest hesitation, I blocked and deleted all his contact information. Chapter 10. I called Joel. I wanted to ask him out to a restaurant off campus, but Joel said that since I hadn't replied to his messages for a while and something had come up at home, he had temporarily gone back. I couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed. All right then, let's get in touch when you're back on campus. Eva. Joel suddenly called my name in a soft voice. What is it? But on the other end of the line, there was only silence. After a long pause, Joel finally spoke. It's nothing. If you have a restaurant in mind, just let me know and I'll book a table in advance. I'll send it to you on WeChat once I decide. Okay. Then I'm hanging up. Okay. After the call ended, I lay on the bed, spacing out for a while. One of my roommates cautiously asked, Eva, are you and Victor breaking up again? Honestly, Victor's really gone too far. We all think he's way too ambiguous with Nicole. Forget it. You guys shouldn't get involved in a couple's business. Eva, I was just saying, don't take it the wrong way. Victor used to treat you pretty well. Yeah, when he was pursuing me, he really did treat me well. But let's be honest. Everyone can see it, that was in the past. Victor and I really did break up. I looked at my roommates. We had gotten along very well over the years. Later, when I married Victor, even though they didn't fully approve, they still traveled from far away to attend my wedding. And after that, when I died young, they were the ones who cried their eyes out at my funeral. I know you all care about me sincerely. I was foolish before, blind to the truth. But now, I've figured things out. Eva, you're really breaking up with him? You won't go back to him again? Never. I swear. If I ever get back with Victor again, may I not live past 30. Hey, you crazy girl. What nonsense are you saying now? Pft, pft, pft. Spit 3 times. You can't make that kind of curse. Thank goodness, finally. You've come to your senses. You're so good, beautiful and hardworking. Why tie yourself to a rotten tree like him? I've never liked him. I hate fake, pathetic scumbags the most. Listening to my roommates all cursing Victor at once, I couldn't help but laugh. Yeah, maybe I had taken that relationship way too seriously before. Maybe I gave him the wrong impression. He always thought that as long as he sweet-talked me a bit, as long as he turned back, I would always come running to him. But this time, not anymore. Tonight it's my treat to celebrate my return to singlehood. Awesome! Then tonight we're drinking till we drop. I had booked a spot at the best hot pot place near campus. But just as I was laughing and chatting with my roommates, stepping into the restaurant, we happened to run into Victor and Nicole, along with a few others. When he saw me, Victor raised his eyebrows slightly. He looked relaxed and charming, that face still striking and handsome. With a faint smile, he looked even more alluring, but I just glanced past him expressionlessly, looped my arm through my roommates, and walked toward our private room. Eva. Victor suddenly called my name. You wanted to see me that badly? Even asked around about where I'd be? Looks like you didn't need a whole week to calm down. You've already come to your senses. I couldn't help but smile. You're overthinking it. This is just a roommate gathering. We're celebrating that I'm single again. Chapter 11. Victor was stunned for a moment, while Nicole covered her mouth with a gasp. Sister, you're breaking up with brother Victor? Is it just because of that little thing the other night? Then, wouldn't that make me the bad guy? Nicole's eyes instantly turned red, and she looked pitifully at Victor. Victor, will people misunderstand and scold me? If you're afraid of being scolded, then stop acting so desperate for attention. One of my roommates, long fed up with her, snapped immediately, getting all ambiguous with someone else's boyfriend. Don't you feel ashamed on behalf of all women? That's enough, Eva. Victor cut in, annoyed. How many times do I have to say it? I only see Nicole as a younger sister. There's nothing else between us. Can you control your friends a little? Don't let them keep attacking an innocent girl like her. The moment Nicole's tears fell, Victor couldn't help but play the hero to save the damsel. The smile on my lips deepened. Sorry. Their mouths are their own, I can't control them. Besides, if you've done something, you shouldn't be afraid of the consequences. We're all adults here, it's not like anyone's still nursing. She didn't do anything, and even if there was something wrong, it's my fault. I was the one who kissed her first. The anger in Victor's eyes grew more intense. If you're going to cling to this little issue and keep making things hard for Nicole, then Eva, there's nothing more for us to talk about. There's nothing to talk about to begin with. Didn't we already break up? Victor let out a scoff, as if my words had amused him. Fine, you said it yourself. Don't come crying to me later, begging to come back. With that, he pulled Nicole to his side and turned to leave. It was clearly done for show. In front of everyone, he wrapped his arm around her directly. Nicole looked back at me, her teary, flushed eyes filled with clear triumph and provocation. I smiled. Aside from a sense of disgust, I didn't feel the slightest bit of sadness. I had a great time eating with my roommates, and we drank a little. On the way back to the dorm, I suddenly thought of Joel. I couldn't help but send him a message. You're not back on campus yet? Joel replied quickly. I am. I saw your Moments post. You were hanging out with your roommates. So I didn't want to bother you. What are you doing now? The late autumn wind was bitterly cold. I pulled my coat tighter around me, tucked my slightly chilled nose into the collar of my sweater. A few minutes later, Joel finally replied. I've got a bit of a fever. Just lying down. I panicked instantly. Did you see a doctor? Did you take any medicine? Do you have fever reducers in your dorm? No, don't worry. I'll be fine after some rest. No way. A fever isn't something to mess around with. Wait for me. I'll go buy you medicine and bring it over. Joel lived in a double dorm, but both he and his roommate had apartments off campus. They only stayed at school occasionally. When I arrived, his roommate wasn't there. The dorm lights were off. When Joel opened the door, he seemed so feverish he could barely walk straight. I quickly supported him and helped him lie down on the bed. But he was tall, and as he lay down, the weight of his body pulled me down with him. I ended up falling right onto his chest. The room was very warm from the heater. Joel's skin was burning hot from the fever. As I lay against his chest, he opened his eyes and looked at me. His gaze wasn't entirely focused, but there was a rare, vulnerable childlike quality to it. Eva, you came? I said I'd bring you medicine for your fever. That's nice, Joel murmured, cutting me off. His gaze grew more and more dazed. I thought you wouldn't come. Not tonight. Not ever again in this life. I was startled, eyes widening without meaning to. Joel? Chapter 12. Could it be he had the same dream? Could it be he had lived another lifetime too? But Joel had already slowly closed his eyes. He was just holding my hand, so tightly, as if he were afraid that if he let go, I would vanish. I stared at him, my chest aching with sour grief. Joel, take the medicine first, okay? But Joel wouldn't let go of my hand. Don't go. I'm not leaving. I'm just getting you some water. He opened his eyes in a daze, seeming not quite convinced by my words. I promise. Just 30 seconds, and I'll be back, okay? Joel slowly loosened his grip. I let out a quiet breath of relief and quickly got up to fetch some water. If his fever went on like this, it could truly damage him. I fed Joel the medicine and helped him drink a glass of water. Only then did I finally feel slightly at ease. Get some sleep. I'll stay with you. I'll go back only after your fever breaks. But I feel terrible. Joel pulled back the covers. The high fever had turned his face visibly flushed. He held my hand, pressing my cold fingertips to his cheek. But like a greedy child, it seemed the coolness wasn't enough for him. In the end, he pulled me entirely into his arms. My face, chilled by the wind, pressed against the scorching side of his neck, and he held me so tightly, as if he wanted to crush my bones into him. I couldn't help but gently kiss his chin. Sleep a little, you'll feel better. But Joel only shook his head softly. He cupped my face in his hands, urging me to kiss him again. I laughed despite myself. You're burning up and still won't behave. Eva. Joel just stared at me, in the depths of his dark eyes. A faint, fragile light flickered. Do you see me now? I see you, Joel. I see you. My eyes stung with tears. And finally, I lost control. Tears poured down. From 20 to 40 years old. 20 years of diary entries. All for one unwavering longing. And I crossed through time to return to this moment. All for this, so Joel and I could finally have our happy ending. I would never look at anyone else again. I gently caressed Joel's face, lowered my head, and kissed him ever so softly. Do you believe me? Chapter 13. After dropping Nicole off at her dorm, Victor suddenly received a call from a classmate. Victor, I just saw your girlfriend. She was holding medicine. Was she bringing it to you? Victor's heart skipped slightly. Where did you see her? Right outside our apartment building. But don't you not live in the school dorms anymore? Victor suddenly felt a chill on his face. He instinctively raised a hand to touch it. The cold snowflakes had already melted into droplets. It was the first snow. He remembered it was also during the first snowfall when he and Eva got together. Was she thinking of that too? Is that why she went to the boys' dorms on purpose? As a way to make peace with him? Victor couldn't help but laugh softly. He had never really considered breaking up with her. It was just that she had been acting up too much lately. That's why he felt a bit irritated and got closer to Nicole. But he had no real feelings for Nicole, even that night. In the end, he had still pushed her away, even when Nicole was nearly naked. Clinging to him, crying so hard she could barely breathe, he had still walked away. He was planning to go back and stay the night tonight. She's probably still there, right? I'm downstairs on a date with my girlfriend. I didn't see her come out. Thanks. Bro, I'll head back right now. Victor hung up and quickly walked toward the dorm building. The snow was falling heavier now. A thin white layer had already formed on the ground. Victor thought he was graduating next year. Maybe he could propose at the graduation ceremony. She would definitely be so happy. He stepped out of the elevator and hurried toward the room. But when he opened the door, only his roommate was inside playing video games. Victor froze. Eva, had she left? His roommate took off his headphones, confused. Eva? She hasn't been here. Victor suddenly felt his heart sink. He held onto the door frame, standing silently for a moment, then asked again, has Joel been staying in the dorm these past few days? I think so. I saw him come back. Victor immediately turned and walked toward the other end of the hallway. He stopped in front of Joel's door, raised his hand, and knocked. Joel, are you there? Open up. I need to talk to you. Chapter 14. Victor watched as the door in front of him opened. Joel's figure and that annoyingly familiar face appeared in his line of sight. The dorm lights weren't on. Only a dim yellow glow filled the room. What do you want from me? You're going to bed this early with the lights off? Yeah, I just took fever medicine. You've got a fever? Victor's brows instantly furrowed. A classmate had said Eva came by with medicine. Could it have been for Joel? But hadn't Joel said long ago that he already had someone he liked? A ridiculous thought suddenly surfaced in Victor's mind. He found it laughable, but that thought only grew clearer and clearer. Why couldn't it be Eva? Hadn't he also fallen for Eva at first sight? So, what is it exactly? Need to borrow your computer. I have to transfer some files, Victor said, and reached out to push open the half-closed door. But Joel stopped him. Sorry, not a good time. Victor smirked slightly. Not a good time to lend your computer? Or not a good time to let me in? Joel didn't budge an inch. Neither is convenient. The smile on Victor's face began to freeze bit by bit. The dorm room wasn't small, but it wasn't that big either. He vaguely caught a whiff of a familiar scent. A soft trailing note, white rose. It was Eva's favorite perfume, the one she used all the time, so much so that her scent would arrive before she did. That growing suspicion in his mind slowly started to solidify. Yet Victor's tone only grew calmer. Well, hiding a beauty in your golden house. Huh? None of your business. Joel's face turned cold as he moved to shut the door, but Victor raised his hand to block the crack. Let me guess, who could it be? Eva? Victor's smile twisted slightly, as if warped by anger. So it was that night you hooked up, right? You kept saying you had someone you liked. Then she shows up at your door and you don't even refuse when she offers herself to you. Joel suddenly swung his fist, landing a heavy blow on Victor's face. Victor hadn't expected it, let out a cry of pain, and struck back immediately. Joel was burning with fever, so his reaction was a bit slow. He wasn't able to dodge, and a bruise instantly bloomed across his face. Victor's expression contorted fiercely. Just as he raised his fist to strike again, Eva's voice suddenly cut through the air. Victor, that's enough. His hand froze midair. His gaze passed over Joel and landed on the slender figure in the dim light. Eva wasn't wearing a coat, the wool sweater outlining her tiny waist. He remembered it clearly, the very first time he met her. He was captivated by that slim waist. A sharp sting hit his eyes. Rage and hatred crashed over him like a tidal wave. He had wanted to sleep with Eva more than once, but she had always hesitated, refusing to go further. And now, had Joel already gotten there first? Victor felt every last bit of his sanity swallowed up by fury and jealousy. He pointed at Eva's face, speaking each word through clenched teeth. Eva, how did I never realize it before? You're a fucking, complete, filthy whore. Chapter 15. Joel went crazy. I was so terrified I burst into tears, begging him to stop, but it was as if he couldn't hear me at all. The boys from the neighboring dorm rushed over to pull them apart. It took 4 or 5 people a huge effort to drag Joel away, but Victor had already been beaten beyond recognition. One of his teeth had been knocked out, his nose bridge broken, and he lay on the ground without moving for a long time. The situation escalated, alarming the school and the police. When Victor was lifted onto the ambulance by the nurses, he was still shouting incoherently, Joel, you're fucking done for, you're going to prison. I won't settle. No amount of money will make me settle. Joel simply stood off to the side, looking at him coldly. Sure, when your dad comes begging me to settle, you'd better stay just as tough as you are now. When the ambulance drove off, Joel and I were taken to the police station. But strangely, after giving our statements, the police informed us we could leave. Joel also had injuries on his face. I insisted he see a doctor first. He couldn't win against my persistence, so he had no choice but to go to the hospital. We didn't return to the dorms afterward. Instead, we went to Joel's off-campus apartment. After applying ointment to his wounds, I stood up to wash my hands. Then suddenly, I saw the diary on the desk by the bed. The exact same one I had seen in my dream. I froze, holding back the sting in my eyes, and turned toward Joel. Can I take a look? Joel was slightly surprised, but he didn't refuse. I picked up the diary and flipped to the newest entry. The date was from the night of the photo shoot. Heaven heard my wish and gave me a wonderful dream. I know dreams eventually end, but it doesn't matter. This is still the happiest day of my life. My tears fell onto the page, blurring his handwriting. So Joel hadn't dreamed the same dream as I had. It was just me, only I came back to the past. But that was even better. Joel knew nothing about my regret, my guilt, my heartbreak, my desire to make things right. All he knew was that Eva had finally seen him, and the rest of his life would only be filled with joy and happiness. I closed the diary, turned back to Joel. Joel, are you sure that night was the happiest day of your life? Joel hadn't spoken yet. I had already walked over and gently pushed him down onto the bed. I told you I wanted to give you a birthday gift, one you would definitely like. I raised my hand and softly brushed over his handsome brows and eyes. But now, I want to give it to you early. Chapter 16. Eva? Joel held my fingertips. He seemed to sense what I was thinking, and suddenly, he looked flustered. Maybe, should we wait for another day? Why? I'm still sick, and I've got injuries. I instantly understood his unspoken meaning. He was afraid he wouldn't perform well. He was worried that, compared to me, a girl with experience and knowledge, he would disappoint me. So, you're afraid you won't be good enough? Joel's lips tightened abruptly. He didn't say a word. All right then. I pretended to be a little disappointed and began to sit up. Everyone online says guys with a fever act differently. I was kinda curious to try it. But if you're not up for it, then forget it. But just as I stood up, Joel reached out and wrapped his arm around my waist. Do you really want to try? I nodded hard, looking at him with wide, expectant eyes. Joel slowly sat up, resting his chin against my neck. Eva, if I do anything wrong, tell me right away. I'll fix it. I wouldn't even know what's right or wrong. Joel's kiss fell on my earlobe. Then if you feel uncomfortable at all, tell me immediately. My body temperature seemed to rise with his. Lost in his kisses, I murmured in response. When I started crying, Joel was deeply distressed, but he still tried his best to stay calm and gently pulled away. I clung to his neck, tearfully looking at him. Joel, can I take the gift back? His eyes were full of tenderness as he leaned down and kissed my tears. All right, if you don't want to give it, then don't. Books are all lies. It hurts so much. I sobbed in his arms, but still couldn't help secretly touching his firm, sexy muscles. The sweat dripping from Joel's forehead landed right over my heart. It burned. It made me feel all tingly. Joel, isn't it kind of rude to take back a gift you already gave? Maybe I should still give it to you? Joel seemed a little helpless, his tense jaw muscles trembling faintly. Eva, don't torture me. Just put me out of my misery already. Chapter 17. Joel had a treasured diary. It was filled with the bittersweet thoughts of his secret love for Eva, and the joyful fulfillment after finally getting his wish. After both Joel and Eva had left this world, their little granddaughter accidentally opened a hidden compartment in the diary's cover. Inside was a folded, yellowed piece of letter paper. Joel had written a note on it, a message Eva may never have known. Eva may never find out. I'm someone who has lived 2 lifetimes. She always says she loves me, that she loves me the most, far more than I love her. I've never denied it, but I also never told her. I've loved her for 2 lifetimes. How could she ever have loved me more than that? All I've ever wanted was for her to be happy, as long as I could see her smile. Every day felt like good weather, every moment like a blessing. If there is a next life, I hope I meet her again, and keep loving her. But next time, I hope we meet from the very beginning, childhood sweethearts, growing up side by side, until we grow old together.